When Toni Morrison praises a book, when she says that an author fills the void left by the death of James Baldwin, yeah, that's when you know it's a big deal. Hey, beautiful people of the internet, my name is Ryan, and I was 19 years old before I was assigned to read a book by an African-American writer. I've been getting reading assignments since I was 6 years old, and it took until 19. And that's important, and we need to talk about it on this channel, but that is not today's video. Today I'm reviewing the National Book Award winner for nonfiction, Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. There's a difference between talking about the book and talking about my personal education on Black writers. More on that coming soon on this channel, I promise, but first we are going to give this book the review that it deserves. Alright, disclaimer number one, this is my third time making this video, and I'll tell you more about that later. Disclaimer number two, this is not exactly a spoilable book, but no spoilers anyways. Okay, three-part book review. First is the basics about the book, second is the project of the book, and third is my personal reaction to it. The basics about the book. Between the World and Me is a 2015 nonfiction book by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It won the National Book Award for Nonfiction last year, which launched it onto everyone's radar, and honestly, I feel like a lot of the people who walk in my circles have read it. It's very short, it's just over 150 pages long, and it's written in the form of letters from Ta-Nehisi Coates to his 15-year-old son. The letters are a warning and an attempt at honesty about his son's inheritance as a black boy in America. Ta-Nehisi Coates, if you have not read him, you should have, but you should start reading his stuff right away. He writes for The Atlantic and other big publications like that, although he also has a memoir that he wrote before Between the World and Me. I have not read it, though I hope to pick it up soon. And here is the final basic central thing about this book. It was not written for me. This might be hard to talk about or to digest because in my experiences, white readers have a tough time talking about this, but this book was not written for a white audience. I personally have struggled with this idea in the past, so I understand if you do too. But there is such a thing as writing in a way that does not cater to white audiences and does not soften the conversation of race for those of us who don't have to think about it every single day. And that brings us to something else that is key. I cannot possibly talk about this book as an insider, but I've got to talk about it despite not quite having the words. Like I said, this is the third time because keep not getting the words right. It's hard to talk about because this book is more important than a lot of the books that I review on this channel. Okay, number two, the project of the book. Interesting fact for you, Between the World and Me was originally supposed to be published in October of last year, but it was pushed up twice and eventually published in July. Why was it pushed up? Because of continuing violence against African Americans, and specifically because of the Charleston, South Carolina shooting. That tells you something about the book's project. Some complaints about this book are that it is too short, that it doesn't offer answers to racism in America, that it does not advance the academic conversation surrounding race, that it's too basic and not theoretical enough. I think that all of those complaints are exactly right. This book is not about answers to racism or the academic conversations. It is not theoretical. It's not an intro to race relations in America textbook. It's not a book that handholds white readers into the conversation. The project of Between the World and Me is about one father, a particularly eloquent father, and the things that he wants to tell his son, whose physical body is in more danger than mine will ever be. It is a warning. It is intensely personal. It's informed and affected by institutional and personal racism, but in the end it is about two very physical lives, a father and a son. And the writing matches the project. Each section of this long-form essay is a direct address to the you, Coates' son, and Coates' journalism background means that the writing is honest and stark and clipped. Okay, thirdly, my personal reaction to the book. Reading and writing in that imaginative process is, to me, one of the most empathetic ways to live a life. It is the easiest and maybe only way to leave your head behind and your experiences behind and to enter into someone else's. That includes the experience of being black in America. But it is also impossible for me to fully know the experiences of others. However long I read, I cannot spend 40 years living with the same feelings and fears that he has. Psst, I think we should still try though. I think it's kind of our human duty to try. So here's my personal reaction. Between the World and Me was searing and it was painful. It made me uncomfortable and it made me despair. It gave me a more clear picture, and sometimes those pictures are the most painful ones. It's one of those reading experiences where it is less my job to tell you what it is like and more my job to just strongly encourage that you find out for yourself. Yep. Okay, here's the thesis version. Between the World and Me is a small package, and it sets out to do a basic thing: to write a letter to a son. The intensity and the honesty of that small project makes for a much more powerful reading experience. Between the World and Me is definitely worthwhile. It's like Toni Morrison said, this is required reading. Alrighty, that is all that I've got for this week. I'm always interested to hear what you guys think of my videos, to get feedback, but this week I'm especially interested because I get the feeling that many of you have already read it, and I want to hear your reactions, to learn from what you thought of it, and I will let you all know very soon what book I'm going to be reading next on the channel. I think that's all that I've got. Best wishes! Hey beautiful people of the internet, my name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be reviewing Purity by Jonathan Franzen. But wait, stop. Stop writing your comments down below asking me how this book compares to Franzen's two famous books, Freedom and The Corrections.